What is good, YouTube? What is good? This is your boy Thomas from the BX, the Bronx, and 11:11 p.m. Well, actually 11:09. Excuse me, laptops. I had 2 minutes. 11:09 p.m. on this late evening here in the East Coast, here in the Bronx, New York, and I'm just here to talk some shit. We're gonna talk some football. My co-host will be with me shortly, and we're gonna talk football. We're gonna talk over under and wins. We're gonna talk about we're gonna name some teams. I'm gonna throw the odds out there. Uh, you know, for example, I'll say Rams over under is 7 wins, 7.5 over unders, and we'll say, we're taking the over or we're saying the under, et cetera, et cetera. For now, I'm just going to kind of speak about some other things. Right now, I'm watching the Seahawks preseason game against the Cowboys. And lo and behold, right on cue, a Cowboy fan jumps in the chat. My man, G5 Gabe, what is good with you, bro? TWT is in the building. How you doing, my friend? By the way, G5 is a big Cowboy fan. Preseason don't mean nothing. You know, I watch preseason because I want to see how the guys look, especially the guys competing, and see, how fresh they look, how serious they take in it, you know, stuff like that. The mechanics, timing, you know, and things like that. Like Drew Lock just threw a nice little pass there, surprisingly, and first down right there to Thompson. I'm going to tell you something. I've been watching this game. Jake Bobo, who is this guy? Jake Bobo out of Massachusetts, right? Went to UCLA, play, and then ended his career in Duke, undrafted. He's playing a phenomenal game. He had a phenomenal first quarter. Geno Smith hit him with a nice pass. He made a nice little double move earlier. I mean, he's looking to make the team. I don't know if he'll make the team, but he looks good for an undrafted rookie. And sometimes it's always good to have that one white receiver to complement, the nice skill player receivers, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, Skywalker Boxing, what is good, bro? Thanks for coming through. Salute to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? TWT in the building. Yeah, on the screen you're gonna see what you see on the screen is some cards. I collect cards, I collect memorabilia. It's some cards that I kind of like that I've won, just throwing up there worth, a few bucks. I'm not gonna say the price, but it's worth a few penny because they're graded. I wanted to share that with you. I may do lives, not only about boxing and sports related topics. I'll maybe do a live about memorabilia as well. In the left, you see Charlie Sheen. Anybody seen the movie Major League? Major League 1 and 2. Great movies. Charlie Sheen, The Wild Thing, right? Uh, Hilarious movies back in the day, especially for its time. So this card is signed by Charlie Sheen, but I think he signs it as The Wild Thing. Um, and it's a graded card, meaning it went to the PCA, PSA, and they graded. You get a grading from 1 to 10. 10 is obviously the best. 9 is very good. When you're looking for graded cards and nice cards of value, you want your cards to be at least 9 or 10, depending on the year. Some cards and the player. I'm saying a 6 and up is pretty good as well. But this is a graded 10 card, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this card is worth three figures, right? Could be 100, 200, 500. I'm not gonna say the amount, but it's worth at least three figures. And then in the middle, you got like a Tom Brady. This is Tom Brady 2013, a Topps Chrome card. You know, PSA 10, which is like I said, this is rated 10. Is pretty good. You know what I'm saying? And all Tom Brady cards are gonna go up no matter what. I mean, obviously rookies and nice collectible cards, or what's the word I'm looking for? Special cards, or oh man, I'm losing the word. It'll come back to me. There's a word for it. But this card is a refractor, which is kind of like a special edition card, you want to say, not as special. A special card would be a numbered card. I'll get into that in another live, where you got out of 75, out of 100, out of 50, etc. And then to the right, one of the greatest basketball players to ever play the game, uh, LeBron James. It's a rookie card of his. Obviously, this card is going to be worth a nice little penny. Not as much as maybe other LeBron James because it's an upper deck, right? Upper deck, depending on the series and the year, not as valuable. But this card, I believe, is graded a 9. I got the TWT logo covering it. I'm not going to mess with it, but I think it's graded a 9, which is still pretty solid, right? And it's a LeBron James. And just wait till he retires, and of course, be in the Hall of Fame. That card will skyrocket. So all three cards are in the three figures, just to let you know. But anyway, let's go back. We're going to talk a little bit of football. Josh Sanders, thanks for coming through. TWT once again in the building. Appreciate you guys as always. As I come here and I talk a little shit and talk what I talk, right? Uh, Obviously, I'm going to use this live as kind of like a practice for my little radio segment I have tomorrow. Sock's going to help me with that. After we talk a little football, I'm going to go into the Usyk Dubois fight that's happening next Saturday because that's what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. Also, maybe I'll touch up on Charlo and Canelo, my thoughts, what I think. I've been kind of back and forth on the Canelo and Charlo. Personally, I don't like either fighter. I used to rock with both fighters, especially Canelo, until Canelo, popped dirty, years ago, before that second Triple G fight. I fell off. I was a big Canelo supporter. If you guys follow Drew Titan, he'll tell you the story. We went to the press conference for that first fight. We were there rocking with Canelo. And, we was all for Canelo until he popped. And that kind of changed everything with him. And Canelo is a cherry picker as well. He looks for the best situations. Not to discredit what Canelo does in the ring. Canelo's a good fighter, but he seems to be, lost his step, especially based on his last fight. And in Charlo, I like Charlo, especially in the ring, but outside the ring, he said some dumb things that I don't agree with. And it seems like he's been a little bit more mature. I give him that much. But when it comes to inside the square ring, can't talk really bad about Charlo. I mean, he does make some mistakes here and there, but he does do some great things as well. Of course, undisputed at 154. That's a great accomplishment. He's a Hall of Fame fighter. So I'm back and forth on that. I may go into detail that with my boy Sock a little bit later once he gets on the panel. So yeah, basically I'm watching the Seahawks game, Seahawks Cowboys. Seahawks up 17-7. Like I said, who cares what score? I'm gonna tell you who I'm really impressed with. Boye Mafi. I think I'm saying his name wrong. Um, he's he's played great today. Boye Mafe. He's got like a sack, a block pass, some rushes. He's looked good. I expect big things for him this year. Coming off the line. As you know, last year Seattle was terrible, terrible against the run, right? So that's when we want to increase this year, get better defensively. We added two linebackers. We added Bell from the Steelers, and not Bell, Bush from the Steelers, the linebacker, and of course we added back future Hall of Famer, one of the all-time great middle linebackers, Bobby Wagner. He's back, so that's going to help. Jordan Brooks comes back from injury. He says he's 100% healthy. Remember, ACL injuries is not, coming back too quick can really hurt you. So we'll see how he looks when he comes back. But that's three great linebackers. That's a great core. The defensive line, Taylor's there. So I'm looking for big things, Seattle defensively. Gino played today. He looked pretty good. He looked good, especially in the second series. He had a nice little drive. Who I'm really impressed with, the two rookies that we drafted this year. I spoke about it last week. Charbonnet looked phenomenal. He made a nasty cut earlier today and shook the shit out of some Cowboy defender. I mean, he shook him like he put him on skates, right? And he made a nice little run. But he looks good, man. And like I said last week, if anybody heard me, I've seen this guy in person. He played when he was in Michigan, and I've seen him up close and personal, meaning I was a few feet away from him when the Michigan players got on a bus because I was with some Michigan fans and I was with my Notre Dame fans. And my friend brought his son to the game, big Michigan fan, and he went and spoke to him. I believe he took a picture with him, if not an autograph. I remember Ty Law was there. We took a picture with Ty Law. Also, he was there because he was getting inducted to the Hall of Fame that year, so he was there to motivate the kids. But I saw him up close and personal, and I remember watching the game in the pouring rain where Michigan kicked our ass that game, like 40 to like 14 or something. It was ridiculous. He scored 2 touchdowns. He looked good. I remember standing next to a Michigan fan, and I was saying this guy's going to be a future star. But lo and behold, the following year he didn't get much playing time, or he was upset with the playing time, and he went to transfer. He transferred to UCLA, and was a solid back for them. And lo and behold, look, He's a Seahawk now. He got drafted, I believe, in the second round, which I was shocked because we have the kid from Michigan State, Kenneth Walker. So I believe we're gonna have two good backs that complement each other. Remember, the NFL is a two running back league, sometimes three, right? It's not like back in the day where you got the workhorses. You got, these guys rotate a lot. Some teams more than others. So I'm really happy. And then what about Jackson Smith, Nick Jigba from Ohio State? He made some great catches today. He made two great catches today. I mean, he's looked phenomenal also. I mean, if Seattle's offense is not top five this year, I'm gonna be very upset. And you know whose fault that's gonna be, right? That's gonna be Geno Smith's fault, right? Right off the back. The offensive line is supposed to be better. I've been reading stuff about the offensive line, saying it's one of the worst offensive lines they've ever seen. I've seen that in some website. I'm gonna look for it and post it the next live or the next video I do. But I don't understand how's that possible when we drafted Charlie Cross last year, in the first round, and we're supposed to be much better in the line. And it's not as bad as when Russell Wilson was running for his life. You know what I'm saying? So we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm excited, just like anybody else is excited for the team. I'm excited because on paper, they look great. So hold on one second. Let me add my homie Big Sock to the stream. Big Sock, what's good? Let me take down this banner. What's good, Sock? I'm hiding my face today, but I'm gonna show
Okay.
good looking face here. You know what I'm saying? Let me
There
hold on.
What we got? We got Rick Vaughn.
Oh yeah, I was just showing them some of the memorabilia that I collected because I was telling them that I collect, and some of the guys here they know that I collect cards and stuff, memorabilia, and I was just showing off some of the stuff, and that maybe another live or video I'll go into that on collecting cards and stuff. So I had the Wild Thing there signed by you know the Wild Thing himself. Um, what's the
Charlie
actor's name?
Sheen.
Charlie Sheen himself. I got him, and the other two are not signed. They're just regular cards. Rookie of LeBron James, and I was telling they're graded cards, and really that means they're really in good condition if they're rated 10, and that increases the value of the card. So that's what we was talking about. I was just talking about my Seahawks and telling how impressed I am with my two rookies, Jackson Smith and Nick Jigba. He's played well tonight. And Charbonnet's played great again. He looks good running the ball. So I was just saying how excited I am for my Seahawks. Not that I'm biased, but on paper, we look good. You know, you coming in right at time, right on time. You being a Raider fan, what are you excited for this season?
Uh, Truthfully, I don't know what to expect. You know, I've had years that I've gone in very optimistic, and I've been let down to say the least. Um, I am still lukewarm on the leadership of the organization. I'm still reeling over losing John Gruden as a coach, and they brought in basically the New England Patriots, to run the team, with Ziegler, the GM, and then of course the head coach Josh McDaniels, who, I mean, you win games with players, but coaches could really lose games. And I thought at times last year there was some questionable play calling. When you blow leads in the fourth quarter, that's on coaching. And of course, a little bit on the QB, but the coach, I think, in football probably has the most influence out of any sport, hands down. I think there's something about a football coach that it takes on his temperament that the team follows, and the attitude. And, the team last year probably could have gotten into the playoffs if they would have beaten the teams they were supposed to have beaten. And if they would have, you know, not blown leads. I mean, the game against the Chiefs, for example, Monday night, that's one of the worst losses that I've seen. I mean, you have three scores on the best team in the league. You got to win that game. So
That's the game that
uh,
was that the game Devontae Adams threw his helmet at the end of the game? Was that the one?
yeah, he had it. Yeah, yeah. Just I mean, I could take over the show just talking, spilling my guts about the Raiders. So I don't want to take the show completely off the rails. But
It's all right. I mean, we like to get different perspective on different teams. Like, I mean, I can give an observation on a team, But a person that's a fan of the team knows more about the team because they follow it more. So, you're going to give a better take on the Raiders than I am, so.
Yeah, I mean, I do follow my team as close as I can, being on the East Coast, but with this cyber world we live in, the world's a lot smaller. So, I try to read up with the West Coast papers and the podcast and stuff. And it's a big year. Um, the one thing that just upsets me to no end is that we don't have a home field advantage anymore. People have flocked to Allegiant Stadium, and it's part of the tourist trap of Vegas. It's like you go watch a game, yeah, you'll see silver and black, but then you'll see, you know, 40, 50, even 50% of the stadium with other colors,
Yeah.
And that's just disheartening, and if the team continues to be mediocre, it's only going to get worse. And we have a couple of teams that have big fan bases that could really embarrass the Raiders, and maybe that's what it's going to take. Like I believe we're home to the Steelers. We have a huge fan base. No, I'm sorry. I think we traveled to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
But the Chiefs fans always, show out. Denver, even though it was preseason, 49ers, had more than 50% of the tickets. That sucks. To see
Well,
that on TV.
that's a strange rivalry because you guys only play like once every 4 years, but that is a rivalry.
A heated rivalry,
Yeah,
like
and there's
rivalry,
fights.
rivalry where people have gotten killed.
Yeah.
In the old stadiums, in Candlestick and Oakland. So, yeah, that's unfortunate, immature stuff. I mean, you got to be a little bit of a sicko to throw hands for, people that don't know you,
Yeah.
but
And
you
getting
know,
paid millions of dollars to play a game.
right.
Yeah.
But people, are invested in their team. So to your original question, it sucks when your team sucks. So, but on paper, the Raiders, if you look at it objectively, even if you're a Raider hater, Devontae Adams is a top 3 wide receiver.
Correct.
Josh Jacobs is probably the best running back in football, but he's yet to be signed.
Yes.
Um, the O line is probably the biggest question mark on offense. Aside from Devontae Adams, I like the rookie from Notre Dame, Meyer. We got rid of one of the biggest sissies in the game, Darren Waller, all the talent in the world.
But
Built
you're
like
right. Yeah.
Tarzan, plays like Jane.
Yeah.
Uh,
At one
Hunter
point,
Rem.
we thought because I know you, and I got to say we because I agree with you. We thought Waller was the best tight end in football. We thought he was better than Kelsey. He had all
Now,
the attributes.
thank you. I go by game. If these two people had a tryout, right,
Hmm.
and you had them run the 40, you had them jump, you had them bench, you had them catch passes, run routes. I think Darren Waller checks off more boxes. I think what
Absolutely.
I think Kelsey's a great route runner. He's great at getting open. And I don't want to sound like the geek that says, "Oh, the guy runs great routes." Any fan that talks crap about, "Oh, this guy runs great routes," is full of more crap than a colon, because you can't gauge that on TV. You have to be
No.
watching game film, and game
Yes.
film is not what CBS and Fox shows you. All right, game film is different angles of tape. Like people that subscribe to PFF, okay, that's different. You're getting a different angle. If you have that subscribe membership. So, but Kelsey always happens to find a way to get himself open, and if not open, he draws the flag. He's probably the smartest, tight end I've ever seen. But Darren Waller, he he runs like a wide receiver. He's 6'6". His biggest problem, I thought, was I don't think football is his priority. He's into music.
Hmm.
He just got married. He doesn't play if everything is not right. I know he overcame the substance abuse problems. I know they don't say it, but football players, we all know, after week one, or even week one of practice, they're all hurt. Okay,
Hmm.
and Darren Waller probably isn't keen on playing under medication because he's got a habit history. right? He's
Yeah.
the guy that's constantly overcoming that demon. So maybe I'm harsh on him because I mean Darren Waller missed a lot of games the last 2 years, and just happens to be ironic that he missed it after he got his contract extension. So I think he was a big part of the Raiders being a bad team last year. The games he missed. He's off to the Giants. Let's see how he does. Um, the team on defense made a lot of moves. Our linebacking core is still suspect, but they brought in a lot of guys to the secondary, and I think we have, if not the best defensive end in football, because of overall
Hmm.
Max Crosby, the way he plays the run.
Another
You
top
know,
three guy at his position.
another exactly,
He-
exactly.
Top
So
three
we
guys at
have
that
talent.
position. Yeah.
We have a lot of talent. The number one pick that we had from Texas Tech. I can't remember his name right now. Uh, he was a top five pick. He was graded high. He was considered a stud, and they have a lot. They have talent.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of execution. They were in every game last year pretty much. They really didn't get embarrassed. So I think Chandler Jones kind of got got caught up towards the end of the year. He picked up, and I think he's going to come strong again this year. So
He's
uh,
solid too. I like him. He's good
yeah, I
too.
mean he's a borderline Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
Chandler Jones. You
Hmm.
look at his career.
Hmm.
So let's see what happens. We're in a very tough division. The Chargers, the Chiefs. I think the Broncos will be improved with the new head coach and Peyton.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's
Yeah.
going to be an interesting year. We play those Broncos first game of the year.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing about the NFL. The NFL has a lot of parity this year. There's a lot of teams that look decent on paper, and then the teams that don't look as good on paper, they're in divisions with other teams that don't look as good on paper. So that kind of leaves it open, like the NFC South, the AFC South. Both South divisions are a little bit kind of suspect. You know, they're solid teams, but not as good as the other teams in the other division. Real quick, shout out to Anthony Bolton. Thank you for coming through. Salute to you, bro. Um, but going back to what you were saying, yeah, about Waller and the tight ends, I just want to touch up on something before we get into these regular season wins. Um, it's true. Like when somebody talks about the route running with especially with tight ends, like how can you how can you see that? Like he's a great runner. These tight ends, they block and they come off the line and they pretty much, they have to be smart. And like you said, that Kelsey's a smart tight end. Like he knows how to position himself in the right holes of the defense, right? That's basically his specialty.
Hmm.
Other than that, what are they doing? Like if they, unless he lines up in the slot, which a lot of tight ends are doing now, the athletic ones.
Mm.
A
Right.
lot of teams use them in the slot to, for the disadvantage against a smaller corner. But yeah, tight ends are coming off the line. They're blocking, 2 seconds, and they're just sitting in the zone somewhere, and then it's like the quarterback safety net, right? You know what I'm
And
saying?
and he and he also happens to play with a pretty good quarterback. You know
Yeah, exactly. And that can move.
that can
You know,
move, and
so
he knows the guy's game. He
yeah,
he his he he almost, I believe he almost plays like that linebacker that shadows the QB.
yeah,
Mahomes goes that way. He's going that way too.
yeah,
He's those guys could play blindfolded. So that
yeah,
has a lot to do with it. And he's also been blessed to play for a head coach who's at one point is going to wind up in Canton.
yeah,
Andy Reid. He's got a
yeah,
lot of wins on his belt. Probably should have won more. Some people will say, but regardless, he's getting in. He's got his rings, and he's a Hall of Fame coach. So,
yes, sir.
and
Real,
it's what it is.
yeah, real quick, shout out Mr. Shelton, LDBC or nothing, baby. What's good with you, Mr. Shelton? Salute to you. Absolutely. Andy Reid probably should have had at least another Super Bowl, at least one with the Eagles. Right? We go back to the year the Tampa Bay won. That year the Eagles were the better team, and Andy Reid got out coached. He pretty much got out coached in that NFC Championship game. So,
Whenever you lose
but
a home game, home playoff losses are bad to have on your resume.
and he's lost with the
A
Eagles.
lot.
How many? Like at least three, I think. I want to say four because I think they went like 4 straight years. But I'll just for the top of my head, I'll just say three. But three
Off the
three
top,
home playoff games, right?
off the top of my head, lost to the Giants at home, got eliminated, I
Yeah.
believe. Was that in Philly? Yeah, no, I'm sorry. No, the Seahorn game. No, that was in New York, in
Oh,
Jersey.
okay. When he got the onside kicking touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was in Jersey. I'm sorry.
yeah. I
I
couldn't
take it back.
stand Seahorn. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
There's no hate like white on white hate. Uh, Tampa, the Tampa and Carolina, those two. Tampa and Carolina were home losses.
That's right. The Carolina that lost to the Patriots.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was an
And
NFC Championship game too, I think.
he also lost to the Patriots at home. He got beat by the Patriots at home with the Chiefs, and
Oh,
he
with
also
Alex Smith. Oh, what did Mahomes start that game? But Alex, that was Alex Smith
Mahomes.
team. Mahomes started the game, but Alex Smith played most of the season. He was the starting quarterback that year.
Right. That
I
was
believe.
the
I think.
who's
I
the guy
believe
that
that was
went off sides, the DN. Was it the
because
was it the former was it D Ford?
it might have been D4. They blew the game because of that because of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that gave him a first down.
Mm-hmm.
Holy
They
shit, that's right. Yeah,
lost to the Bengals at home, right?
yeah.
So
And the Bengals went to Super Bowl, so he's lost. Yeah, wow.
a lot
He
of
has.
the only guy that I could think of that blew more home games was Bill Cowher. At least of our era
Yeah.
watching football. Cowher lost a lot of home games in the playoffs.
Okay.
I want to say the Saints also. The Saints have had some bad losses at home,
Yeah.
in the playoffs. But like you said, parity. I
All right.
think it seems like the league every year it's really any given Sunday. Free
Yeah.
agency has obviously, the I don't think you have to be, you know, uh, a Harvard grad to realize that free agency definitely has caused the parity in the NFL.
Yes. Yes.
So
So I'm gonna just get to it because we've been at this for a minute, and we get into it, and we have a lot to say about everything because we know a lot about different sports and topics because that's all we do pretty much every day in our chat and we talk shit. By the way, congrats to the Red Sox. They own my team. The fucking Yankees stink, and they own Garrett Cole. It's just ridiculous. But I just want to congratulate too because I'm not a coward, right? So so I got to man up and take the L, right? So congratulations to the Sox. Both teams not having good year, but it's always good to beat your rival and to kill your rival because they have really destroyed the Yankees. I don't understand how Aaron Boone has not been fired yet, to be honest. The
you know,
Steinbrenner would have been fired, Boone.
I think if Cashman wants to save face, I mean anything can happen tomorrow, right? The Yankees come
Yeah,
out and I think the Red Sox have a opener, right? So
yeah,
basically, you're crossing your fingers for about the first 5 innings if you're the Red Sox, but the bullpen is pretty rested. If the Red Sox sweep the Yankees, I mean, it might be the best thing for Cashman because he can show that he's not asleep at the wheel and fire Aaron Boone.
yeah.
Because people want to see passion, right?
Yep,
Like when the team's struggling, they get rid of the hitting coach, right? Oh,
yep,
he's the guy, right? I mean, oh my gosh, Anthony Rizzo or Stanton forgot how to hit, right? Come on. I mean,
yeah,
so there's that scapegoat. Then the
yeah.
next domino to fall is usually the manager. And you know how like uh, the presidents they have like these polls about approval ratings,
Mm-hmm.
right? What do you think Aaron Boone's approval rating would be right now in New York City?
Be terrible.
Say something. Say something funny, Mikey. Right? You know. So, it's Hal will never be his father, and that happens, right? I mean,
Yeah,
or Hank,
yeah.
who is it? How
Hank.
either one,
Yeah,
and you know, uh, Cashman's been there a long time. I think his job is secure, but if he was to get rid of Boone right now, and whoever I don't know who the uh, who the bench coach is for the Yankees right now. I know that they have the Luis Rojas, the ex Met. as a third base coach.
Yeah, but I don't think he'd be the next in line. I don't even know, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if they get swept tomorrow, Aaron Boone should not be employed on Monday.
No, he shouldn't. Absolutely not.
And it's
But
nothing. I mean, because then you're basically telling me like it shows like the team has quit.
yeah,
That's 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 I think the biggest thing
yeah,
because obviously the Judge injury huge. You know, they, you know, arguably the best player in the game. He missed a big chunk of time.
yeah,
Rizzo with the concussion, but
yeah.
there's still. I mean, DJ
Nobody else is
LeMahieu.
hitting. Yeah, LeMahieu
LeMahieu
has
has
been
been
terrible,
horrible.
terrible,
LeMay has been horrible. Stanton can't get out of his own way.
terrible.
Uh, I mean, those are two pretty solid players. Gleyber Torres is hot and cold. You
Yeah,
know, his numbers are not terrible if you compare him to like other guys, other second basemen. Um,
they're solid, and then you're playing on a
hmm
team that's not producing. You're playing in a lineup that's not producing, so it kind of makes it look better than what it is. But
hmm
to me,
hmm
it's impressive. I'm pretty, I, you know, I'm pretty hard on Torres, but this year he's played well.
He's played well.
Yeah,
You got Garrett Cole, who's considered the front runner for the Cy Young.
but
There's
he
talent.
can't win the big games though. He
That
can't win like
is,
that.
yeah,
That's the thing with him. And like I said, Steinbrenner's run, he'd be roasting him too. Because
he
if you're
would.
not beating the certain teams, you're not
Right.
producing against the certain teams. He's going to let you know. He doesn't care about the good stats against the bad teams. He wants you to produce against the teams that need to be beaten. You know what I'm saying? So, but
Uh,
we can go into
Rondon.
this Rondon
Ron,
a
Rondon
bust.
is a disaster.
Yep,
A
and a
disaster.
bust.
Nestor
Donaldson
Cortez. Well, Donaldson is making $20 million, right?
to do
That
nothing to hit the price of milk. Not even.
the Yankees, I thought, really fell in love with the girl next door. When they got rid of Urshela, I thought Urshela. I hated him because he always seemed to get like the big hit,
Yeah.
and he kind of fit that. You don't need an all star in every position, you
Nope.
know. The guy played a great third base. A great third base. He fit in. I think he would have. I mean, it's a business, but I think he probably would have been a guy that's been happy to take a little less money to remain a Yankee. Because the Yankees kind of gave him a shot to be an everyday player
Yeah.
after Cleveland kind of didn't know what to do with him. Uh, that was a big mistake. Um, Josh Johnson, he's shot. He shot. That
Yeah.
that that swing
He's
is
done.
those guys that have that hitch in the swing. You can get away with it while you're young. But he just looks slow
Yeah.
to the ball and not injuries. So I think the Yankees got some problems, and it's not going to just be corrected overnight.
No.
They're getting old in key spots. Aaron Judge is great, but next year is going to be a year older, and he's still the book is out. Can he play 150 games at
You're
least?
right, because last year was like the first year in a few years because he's always seems to get banged up.
Yeah,
But let's
and
get into this because we we're going a little bit off topic, which is okay. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what we do. We know what we're talking about when it comes to different sports.
I like
So
to say we're like bird shit, right?
and why is that, Sock?
We're all over the place.
We're all over the place, especially here in New York, right? Right underneath the six train,
Randy,
right under
as
the
soon,
six line.
as soon as you come out the car wash, they
Let me ask you a
they
question,
got you.
Todd. Let me
Yeah.
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. How much bird shit you think is underneath this train station here, right here in Morrison and Southview? How much bird shit you think is there, waiting for the 4 bus and the 27 bus around the corner?
I'm glad that the last time I waited for the 4 bus, I was about 17 years old. So that's what I'm gonna say about that. I mean, that's not a it's you know yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah. So
That's
we're
like
gonna get
the
into it. Salute to PGH Big Dog. Thank you for coming through. You know what I'm saying? He's a big Steelers fan. He knows that I don't like the Steelers. Obviously, the Steelers beat us in the Super Bowl years ago, but he's a big Pittsburgh Steeler fan, and I believe he is from Pittsburgh as well. But
Okay.
Sock, let's get into it. We'll start with the AFC East, and I'm going to start off with the Miami Dolphins. The over/under for the Miami Dolphins in wins is 9.5. 9.5 wins. Over 9.5 or under 9.5 wins in a 17 game season. What do you think?
The Dolphins, a team that really was the team that kind of, I'm not going to say they went under the radar because, the year before that, they kind of showed some promise under Flores. And then we had this guy that looked like he was an intern. He took over as the head coach.
Yeah.
And, they had some nice wins. David Tua, uh, uh, Tua Tagovailoa
Hmm.
was amazing. He looked every bit the promising player he should have been coming out of Alabama, but then of course the unfortunate injuries. Playing in a tough division where the Jets and the Bills are kind of like the consensus favorites. I'm going to say I'm going to say over. I
Over.
still, yes, I think there's a lot of talent on that team, and they probably have the two best wide receive. They have the best wide receiving tandem in the division.
Oh, the best one too, by far.
Not even close.
Yeah, it's not
You
even
know,
close. I mean,
Tyreek Hill.
I'll debate that and say we're a little bit close, but yeah, I understand. Lock it in Metcalf, but yeah, the Dolphins
No, well,
one and
no,
two.
no, I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about the division. I'm
Oh,
not.
okay. Oh, in the division, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, in the division. I mean, Diggs and the other guy is it Gabriel? Is pretty good,
Yeah.
but Hill and Waddle are. I mean, Hill makes a team better overnight. He's
Yeah.
one of the top 4 or 5 players that could change a franchise overnight.
Hmm.
The attention that he uh, that he brings on offense.
Okay.
So
Um,
I'm gonna go over.
Over 9, my boy PGH Big Dog. He also believes they'll win over 9 games. That means they got to win 10. It's 9.5.
Right,
So there's no pushes. So it's either over under. So you both believe that they'll win 10 wins, 10 wins or
10,
more,
10
10
and
wins or
seven.
more. I
Yeah,
am gonna say I'm gonna go with the under, and the reason I'm gonna go with the under is because there is that that question mark in Tua, right? Last year got a scare came off a scary injury that looked like he could have been done, and he missed a few games as well, and they were flying high because I believe Miami was in first for first few weeks. They beat Buffalo early in the
right.
season. They were up, and then the injuries, and they still got into the playoffs. Um, but I think if Tua has to stay healthy, and for some reason I just don't think he can stay healthy. I'm not wishing for anybody to get hurt, but I'm gonna go with the under just off the fact that I don't believe Tua can stay healthy for 17 games. So I'm gonna go under 9.5 for the Dolphins. Plus, the other things you said, the Bills and the Jets, they've gotten better. The Patriots always seem to be competitive, even when they're not as good as they were before. So I think I'm gonna go with the under, and that's what I'm sticking with. We'll go to the next team in the AFC East. Let's go with what everybody's talking about, the team that's on Hard Knocks, the New York Jets. Same total, over under 9.5. It's 9.5 is the over
Interesting,
under.
interesting. I actually thought the Jets would be higher. Um, Listen, Aaron Rodgers is a not a Hall of Famer, but he's a legendary player. But the offensive line has questions. But he's the type of guy that it's like remember when you were a kid and the guy that you choosing up teams and then you got that one guy who's special, you know, uh, and you want him on your team. Oh, we got this guy. That's what I think Aaron Rodgers is going to bring to that locker room. So I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over.
Over 9.5 for the New
Yes.
York, New Jersey Jets. Salute to my boy Stephen Elder Mack. He is a big Packers fan. Stephen L. Lamack, big boxing fan as well. I got the chance to meet Stephen L. at the Deontay Wilder fight um, last October. Real cool dude. Unfortunately, he is a Packers fan, and they're not going to be as good this year. Sorry, Steve.
I'm sure. I, I'm sh- I'm sure he's got well wishes for Aaron Rodgers.
I'm sure he's hoping the Jets. I'm sure he's picking the under 9.5. Um, I am going to go with the under as well. I just feel like the Jets is just one of those teams that just are just cursed and jinxed. I believe they made a lot of good moves. What I do believe the Jets are going to be, I think they're going to be great defensively. I think they're going to be a great defensive team. But for some reason, I just don't see the offense as good as everybody think it's going to be. I don't
Hmm.
think it's going to gel as quickly as people think they're going to gel. And I don't know. It's something in me that's saying that this team is just cursed. Maybe the second year might be the year the Jets kind of blossom, but I'm gonna pick under, and I'm not gonna pick under where that they're gonna have a bad year. I think they're gonna go 9-8, 9-8 at 17 games, and that's under 9.5. So I'm gonna go with under 9.5 for the New York Jets. The next team in the AFC East we're going to talk about, the over under for this team, real quick. Shout out to my boy Joe Townsend. Salute to you. Thanks for coming through. Um, the New England Patriots, the over under 7.5. 7.5 for the Bill Belichick's New England Patriots.
Uh, Big year for Mac Jones, right?
Well,
Uh,
is he going to start? Don't they got the other guy, the other kid there? They may play. Zappy.
that would
But
be disastrous
it would
if
be. I mean,
top 10 pick, right?
Yeah, I
Mac
think
Jones was the top 10, right?
I want to say 15. I don't know if he's top
Top
10. I'll
15.
look that up. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he was
could. He
first
could
round
be.
pick for sure, right?
He
He was
was a
first
first
round
round
pick.
pick, but I don't think he was top 10. I'll double
Uh,
check that. You could be right, but I feel like it was like 15 or 16 or something.
I
I'll
mean,
double check
you
that.
go, so Pro Bowl rookie year, right?
Did he make the Pro
La-
Bowl the rookie year?
I think he did. I mean, the Pro Bowl, it's like, no one wants to go. So like, hey, did you throw out your cleats? Yeah, no, okay, come.
Yeah, that's
So
how it usually goes.
but he had a good year. He had a good
Yeah,
year,
the
right?
first year he did have a good year. Yes,
Under McDaniel's last year, not with McDaniel's, kind of regressed. 7 is a really low number,
seven and a
and
half. So basically, 7 wins or 8 wins is where we're looking at. So
Patriots didn't really make big free agent splash. They lost one of their receivers.
they gained Zeke.
They got another guard, right? Uh, isn't he
They
a
did.
guard? Have you
Yeah,
seen?
I think
Have you
he's a
seen what he
guard.
looks like?
No,
Have you
I
seen what
have
he
no
looks like?
idea. No,
Oh
they
boy!
signed Ezekiel Elliott. They signed him to
Now,
at back.
now the Patriots have always done good getting these running backs that were people thought were kind of washed and produced.
Like
You know,
Corey Dillon.
Corey Dillon.
Corey Dillon
That
was the guy. Yeah, he was washed. He was supposedly washed with Cincinnati, and then he went to the Patriots, and
right. Corey
yeah,
Dillon was such a good player, but I think he didn't really care much. And then he goes from I think he was drafted out of Washington, and then goes to Cincinnati, which was kind of like purgatory for a while. And he blossomed under the Pats. Um, what's my man's name? The guy that snuffed the dude when he was in college.
oh, the other running back Blunt from
Corey
Oregon.
Blunt.
Was he on
Right.
Oregon? Oregon, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
beat
yeah,
he
yeah.
pushed the shit out of the dude from fucking Ohio State. No,
No,
not
no,
Ohio
no,
State.
no.
Boise
Boise,
State.
Boise State.
Boise State.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he
Yeah,
sucker punched a lineman, if I'm not
it was
mistaken.
a lineman or linebacker. Either way,
Uh,
he
yeah, no, he sucker punched him,
he
but yeah,
pieced him.
yeah, Blunt. So I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go
Under
under. I
seven and a
think,
half. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Shout out to my boy True, Lower East Side. My guy True, thanks for coming through, bro. Salute to you. He's an OG from LES. Sock, you know LES very well. Not maybe not very
Hmm.
well, but you do know it well as well. As we are both. here in New York City. I'm
Houston,
gonna
Houston
also
Street.
Houston. We play football on Houston Street.
That's
We
right.
played in the league right off the uh,
FDR.
FDR. We played right there a few years in that rough touch football league. Um, 7.5. I'm also going to select the under. It would be nice to see Mac Jones kind of like play better if he is getting start. I just highlighted Gabe's spot. He's saying that Mac is starting, and I take his word for it. Gabe knows his stuff, so it'd be nice to see if he does do well and kind of you know, revive his career. I just hear a lot of talk about the Zappy kid, and in the collecting world, a lot of people are collecting his cards as well, his rookie card, because they feel like he's going to be the future
Where
starting quarterback. So
where was Zappy drafted from? Where did he play college?
I do not know, but just to go back to Mark Mac Jones, he was drafted 15 overall, so it was the
Good
15th
call.
overall. Yeah,
All right.
Zappy, I do not know. I can't recall where he played from. I want to say
That.
it's one of those like Mac schools or something like that, but I'm not sure. I have
Hmm.
to look that up. I'm also going to pick under 7.5. I just don't think they could compete with the other three
I
teams.
agree.
The other three teams probably will be beating up on each other, but they will probably also beat up on the Patriots. Um, One thing the
They-
Patriots did do well was they beat the Jets last year, and the
oh
Jets, the
boy,
Jets were, the Jets were that was when the Jets were pretty good, and the Jets couldn't beat the Patriots, so
that
it would
that
be
punt
it would be
return.
funny, yeah. Oh man,
That
the
punt.
punt. Oh,
That, uh, now the Patriots probably have the best edge rusher in the division. Um, Judy, Juden,
Juden,
Juden. Big time player. And let's face it, I'm not breaking ground here. They have the best coach,
they do have the best coach and the most experienced coach,
most
and
experienced coach.
nobody can really argue that.
Yeah. So, but like you said, I don't know what the schedule rankings are right now because they normally say, "Oh, who's got the projected toughest schedule?"
Yeah,
But that's what a lot of this stuff is based on, right? Is your
yeah,
schedule, when you meet teams. Now you got 17 weeks, so
yeah,
7.5. You're looking at a 6-11 year for the Pats, or
yeah,
7-10.
yeah.
You know, middle of the pack.
And I have to say, yeah. And so if you think about it, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, based on the way the schedules are made, and you play your team twice in the division, and then you play one division in each conference, and then you play the team, you play one team in each division based on the position you played in. So if you finish second, you play the second place team in the other two divisions that you're not playing the whole division. So if off the top of my head, I would have to say the NFC West teams would probably have the toughest schedule, right? Because you got to play the defending champs twice, and you have to play the Chargers twice because the Chargers made the playoffs. So you have two playoff teams from last year in your division. So that's four
Right.
tough games automatically, and then you're playing the AFC conference, which to me is the better conference of the two. So off the top of my head, I would say that the teams in the NFC West would probably have the toughest
A-
division, toughest
AFC West.
schedule. Yeah. The AFC West, yeah, toughest schedule, not named the Chiefs because the Chiefs can't play themselves, right?
Right.
So probably like the Broncos or the Raiders would probably be one of the two teams that have the toughest schedule. That's just me off the top of my head based off what I just said. Now
Uh,
let's bring it to the fourth team in the division, the favorite to win the division. Why are they the favorite to win the division? Well, Vegas has them as a 10.5 over under on wins, which is more than the Jets and the Dolphins. Over under 10.5. And let me just add one more thing. The over 10.5 is minus 160, almost 2-1, meaning it's towards 11 wins, meaning they favored Buffalo to win 11 or more games. Just wanted to throw that in there. So when it's minus 60, that big favorite, the under plus 140. So if they lay down $100 on the under, you're getting 140 back, which is a nice little penny, if they don't make 11 wins. What do you think?
it's a nice nugget to throw out there. You know what? The Bills have kind of been the bridesmaids, right, in AFC the last couple of years. Um, they made a choice, right, between the two linebackers. They let one go. Uh, they kept Milano and they lost the other kid. I can't remember. I think he signed with the Vikings. Was it? I might be
I don't know.
wrong.
To be honest,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
They didn't really make any moves this off season.
They right. They
They did.
didn't, but they got the best player in the division,
They did. Well, I mean, and Von Miller's coming back too.
Josh
But I
Allen.
oh, the Josh.
Josh
I was
Allen.
saying it. Okay. But I'm
Yeah, I
just saying
think.
that they Von Miller was hurt last year, so they got him coming back. Um,
Hmm, you know what? I'm looking. I picked the Dolphins over, and I picked the Jets over. I think they're gonna beat each other up. Um, I'm gonna go over. I think they're gonna hit. I think, but by the skin of their teeth. I think it's gonna be like an 11-6 year.
wow,
Edmonds.
Lemons,
Thank you.
Edmonds, yes,
Thank you. Thank you, Edmonds.
yes. So they lost Edmonds on D.
And who did he sign with?
Who Edmonds? I don't know.
I
Honestly, I don't know
think.
anything that's
Yeah.
happening in Buffalo. Um, but before he'll probably let us know. Before he lets us know, I'm gonna take the under. I think these teams are
Okay.
gonna beat each other up. I think I could see 10-7, and you know what? Not for anything. I could see 9-8. I could
So a
see
10
nine and
win
eight as
team,
well. Yeah,
10 win
yeah,
team wins the division.
yeah. I think a 10-win team will win the division in the AFC. I really do. Buffalo, you know, we have a good friend of ours, one of our best friends. He's a big Buffalo fan, and what is he always complaining about? He's always complaining about the offensive line and that they have no running game. And I
Right.
don't think they improved the offensive line. He's always complaining about that, and I think he's right. Their best running back is
It's a
Josh Allen.
QB.
Yeah,
Right.
and
The guy
that's
in the
not
center.
that's not a good thing.
No.
So I'm gonna take the under because I like the plus 140, and I'm gonna say the winner of the AFC East is probably gonna win 10 games. So
You know what? I think you're gonna. I think you might be right. You might be right, but I'm going against my picks. So because I mean, I think there's a lot of talent in that division. But like you said, when two teams play each other, one team's got to win, the other team's going
yeah,
to lose. So
yeah,
it's going to be a slobber knocker,
yeah.
to quote Jr.
Think about this. Think about this. Let me just put this on the screen. PGH Big Dog. So he signed with the Bears.
Tremaine. Oh, okay, right. I know
Not the
somebody
Bears.
from the NFC Central. Thank you.
So check this out. Buffalo, right?
Send
They
him a
finished.
T-shirt, Tom.
Buffalo finished first in the division last year, right? They have 4 games against the Dolphins and the Jets, 2 teams that improved greatly, right? And 2 teams that played them tough last year, and those 2 teams gotten better, right? So that's 4 games. They have to play the first place team in the AFC West, which is the Chiefs. That's 5 tough games, right? They have to play the Bengals, the first place team. That's 6. And who won the division in the South? Jacksonville. Buffalo's got a tough schedule.
That's 17. That's
That's
seven
7
games
games.
you
I
ran
don't even,
off.
and I'm not sure what division they play. What division they play in the NFC? Is the NFC? Is it the NFC East?
I gotta minimize
I want to
this.
say it's the NFC East, but imagine that. I think if they play the NFC East, imagine them having to play the Eagles, the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? The Giants. The Buffalo's got a tough schedule. If you think about, and I'm not even looking at this off the top of my head. And now that we're talking about it, I'm just going to pull it up real quick because we're thinking about the schedules and how the schedule works every year. You play one division, you play wherever place you finish um, in each division. They have to play the first place teams.
Yep.
So let me just see if they tell me real quick what it looked like. Let's
And
see.
NFL season boils down to two things: injuries and schedule. That's
Yep.
it. Um, Everyone's got talent. Uh, it's like we said earlier, a lot of parity, especially the NFC, the AFC East.
I think they play in the NFC East too. So yep, they do. They play. That means wow, this is crazy. They have a tough ass schedule. That means they play the Giants, the the um the Cowboys, the Commanders, and the Eagles. That's also
Three
tough.
three playoff teams.
Three playoff teams. The only good thing about their schedule is a lot of teams I just mentioned are on the East Coast, so they're not traveling that
That's
far. I think they play the Raiders, but I'm not sure if they're playing at home, whatever. So that always helps when you don't have to travel as much. That's another
right.
factor when people look into these over unders and they're looking at schedules. But yeah, I really feel better with this 10 minus 10.5, to be honest. Uh, after looking after looking at that schedule. Um,
That's.
go ahead. What you was gonna say?
I mean, when you break it down like that, now I'm nervous about picking the over.
Things change. We don't. We got a couple
The way
more
I'm
weeks of
looking at it,
preseason.
everyone's going to get fat off the Pats, right? That's it, I guess,
You
what we're
think about,
looking
yeah,
at.
they should. They're supposed to.
But the Patriots will steal a game against one of these teams.
One of those teams, yeah. But
Maybe
even
two.
yeah, but even with that said, that's only 2 wins. They got to find 9 other wins to get to 11 to get that over. So
And you said 7 games. That I mean, it's
if they play the Raiders, so that means they play the AFC West. If they play the Raiders, that's what I'm thinking. Because if they
hmm
already play the Chiefs and the Raiders, so they're playing. That means they got to play the Chargers and the Broncos as well. They may have the toughest schedule right now. It's just
and they
just
and how pumped up is the Big Apple going to be that first week? Jets Bills. We're going to find out how good the Jets really are, right?
absolutely, yeah. That's gonna be where's the game at? I didn't check. Let me see. I was just there. Let's
Um,
see.
I think it's in Buffalo because I think the Giants open up at home.
No, it looks like it's Bills at Jets.
Okay.
Yeah, well, because remember the Giants play. I believe the Giants play. Well, this is a night
Yeah,
game too, September 11th.
right, right, right,
So
right.
this is also a night game. I don't know where the Giants play. Yeah, it's at the Jets. Interesting. So the
Okay.
Giants play at home too against the Cowboys that first game.
Fact check me. Could be wrong.
That's weird. How do I? Oh shit! I gotta go to fucking the Giants
Go.
schedule. Wait, yo, whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, let's just skip that. But yeah, that's weird. It's a night game because I believe the Giants play the Cowboys that night also.
Right.
So
Division
that
rivals.
one is a Monday night and one is a Sunday night. Interesting. Unless
NBC
I'm looking at
likes
the
the
wrong.
ratings.
Yeah, unless I'm looking at the wrong thing. But yeah. So I'm gonna switch conferences because I don't know how much time we're gonna stay on this. So let's do two conferences. And then next week maybe we do two more, not conference, two more divisions. So let's go to the NFC. Um, let's do the NFC East. Let's stay in the
Okay.
East Coast. Let's do NFC East. And let me scroll up and let's start off with the what team we're going to start. Let's start off with your New York, New Jersey Giants. I like to say New Jersey because they play in the state of New Jersey, even though they have the New York logos. I like to throw jabs at them. I'm not really a big Giants fan, obviously. But yeah, Giants, over under for the Giants. Get this. They were a playoff team last year. Over under 7.5.
Ah, wow.
That's tough.
Well, a lot of people probably are looking at the fact that the Giants were the product of an easy schedule, right?
Hmm.
Quote unquote easy schedule last year. So now they're playing the tougher schedule, like you had alluded to earlier. The Giants made some additions. They picked up Darren Waller, who's going to help Daniel Jones as long as he wants to play. They re-signed Barkley. 7.5 in a very tough division. I think the Giants are going to be under.
Under. So that's
Yes,
7 wins or less.
I believe they're going to be right around 7 wins.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna go opposite, and I don't like the Giants, especially being out here. Giant fans get on my damn nerves.
But you're objective.
But I want to be objective and I want to be fair. I'm gonna pick the over. I think the Giants can win 8 to 9 games this year. Um, there's some question marks in the NFC East as well. Everybody's talking. I mean, obviously the Eagles are the best team. The Cowboys are supposed to be good, but the Cowboys, they're a funny team to me. The Commanders, we don't know how good they're going to be. Um, Last year, the Giants found a way to win a lot of games. They came back to win a lot of games. They were down in a bunch of games, and they came back to win, and they won a playoff game,
They
right?
did on the
So
road.
I think they lost. They lost. I know they lost Julian Love because Seattle signed him. Um, they should still be solid, defensively. They have a good coach. The coach was great last year for them, and I think they're going to continue to play hard for them. So I think they could find a way and win 8 to 9 games again this year. They won a lot of games on just toughness and just being well coached. You know what I'm saying?
Second,
So
yeah, Dable second year with Daniel Jones, right?
yep.
So you figure he's going to get better. Dable is starting to get that moniker of a quarterback guru.
Hmm.
They have talent. The wide receivers are kind of under the radar. Might be the best wide receivers in that division. I mean, under the radar. I mean, I know the Cowboys have Lamb and Philadelphia has AJ Brown and the other guy, but the
Smith.
Giants wide receivers are good. And they're underrated. So there's talent on that side of the ball. Uh, but I'm still gonna stick to my guns for now.
And take
I'm
the
gonna,
under. Yeah,
yeah,
the
I'm gonna
Giants
take.
receivers are pretty good. I think the problem with the Giants receivers, they can't stay healthy, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that their problem that they're always getting hurt? But they good.
right.
They still got the guy Shepard who's pretty good, right?
hmm
Who's the other receiver they have
They
there?
got a speedster. They got the guy that they drafted this past wide receiver. Can't remember his name. Uh,
Hmm,
they have talent. They have talent.
okay.
You know,
Is Galladay still on the team? That was a joke.
steal him up. Oh boy,
Galladay
oh
is
boy.
is equivalent to Donaldson of the Yankees. So
Yeah.
you got under, I got over. Let's go. I'm just scrolling down. I'm going in order to the way this they're showing it. So they go to the Philadelphia Eagles next. They are the favorite to win the division again. And the over under for the Eagles is 11 and a half.
Hmm. Uh,
That's 12 wins
pe-
for the over.
People talk about that Super Bowl hangover.
Hmm.
I mean, 11-6. You may have some people nervous, but I can see them being 12-5. That is a lot of talent,
Yeah.
a lot of talent. And who did they really lose? They lost the running back, right?
And they gained two, and that's the most suspect position they have
hmm
because as far as talent wise, the running backs are good. But what's their problem? They can't stay healthy. So they
Can't
picked
say
up they picked up DeAndre Swift from the Lions,
right,
and they picked up the guy from Seattle, Penny,
right,
right?
right.
And Penny was looking fucking phenomenal, and then
hmm
he got hurt again, and he's had bad luck. And I think he's a great back. It's just bad luck. But if
I'm.
they stay healthy, that's
I mean, they got the best player in the division, right? So, so I'm gonna go. I'm going to go over. I'm gonna take chalk, as they say.
I'm gonna also go with the over, and I'm gonna go with over because I'm gonna go with one of the. They have two of the best things that you look for in a good football team, right? When you build a football team, like if I was to build a football team, if you gave me a whole bunch of money and you said go out and draft this team or sign these players, I'm looking to build a team from the line of scrimmage, right? And they're good on both sides, the offensive line and the defensive line. Skill players come dime a dozen.
hmm
Quarterbacks are as good as the way your line protects you, and as good as your skill players are, and of course, coaching. So I believe they have the best offensive line and they have the best defensive line. And I do believe they'll win at least 12 games, which is what you need to be the over here. I could see them 12-5, maybe 13-4, kind of like last year. Maybe they tanked the last two games because they probably everything clinched. So yeah, I like the over as well for the Philadelphia Eagles. Next team we have is the wild card, in my opinion, because this team is weird. They got a lot of talent. The Washington Commanders. The over under 6.5.
I'm going to go with the over. I,
Nice.
I, yeah, I think that's going to be a really cool pick. Um, I think that's a pick that has a lot of value. If they stay healthy, the QB is probably the biggest question mark. But those edge rushers, are really good. Sweat and Chase Young, if he's able to
Stay
recapture
healthy.
his,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of talent. They got a solid head coach, good wide receivers, uh, decent running back. So I'm gonna
Riverboat
pick
Ron.
some.
Riverboat
Yeah,
Ron.
you know,
Yeah, they got
uh,
great. I think their receiving core is great. They have good backs. Um, Gibson is good. He just, he got to hold on to the ball, but he's a good receiving back. And then they
mhm,
got the kid Robinson, who started off last year hurt because he got, into a problem where he got shot. Uh, he's pretty good too. I like them. I like the quarterback. I think this quarterback is solid. I think he's pretty good. He came from North Carolina, I believe, right? Um, they produce decent quarterbacks, that do well in the NFL. Um, he can move. He's kind of like a Daniel Jones. He can run. This guy, Sam
okay,
Howell. I 6.5 seems too low for that team for in a division where they're known to like beat up on each other, right? It's just the toughest division every year. Usually,
right,
what's funny, somebody brought this up the other day. Um, the last 3 years, you had three different winners. So who's the team that? Well, the Giants would be the team that needs to win now. So like last year was Philly. The year before, I believe, was Dallas or the Commanders, and then the year before that was the other team. So I think they took turns winning the division the last 3 years.
mm,
So my point being is that division's tough. They usually find ways to beat their rivals. They steal a game here and there. Not sure how their schedule is. You would think they're playing the last place team schedule, right? They
right,
finished last in
right,
the division, so they're playing the last place team in the West, last place team in the other two divisions. The NFC to me is weak, so they're going to play a division at NFC. I'm not sure what's the other division. Does it really matter unless it's the West? Because I believe in the West, the Niners and the Seahawks are far better than the Rams and Cardinals, but the other divisions are pretty shaky. So I like the over. 6.5 looks pretty damn good for me to me. So over 6.5 wins for the Washington Commanders. And last and definitely least, right? All right, not least. And I say this because I know there's a bunch of Cowboy fans all over. It's America's team, right? How about them Cowboys? And the Cowboys are going to be the first team I see on the over unders where there's no half. It's a straight number. The over under is 10 even, right? So you can push. If they win exactly 10, you don't win or you don't lose, depending if you take the over under. So over under is 10. I will throw one more thing about this. The favorite is the over 10 at minus 145. I mean, you got to lay $145 to win 100. So they're basically, Vegas is basically telling you that the Cowboys are favored to win 11 or more games.
well, I'm picking Philly to win the division, and I picked them at over, right?
Hmm.
But I do think they're 2 games better than Dallas. Now you said if I could if I hit 10 on the nose, I'm good money, right?
You're good money. So if you
So
took the over under 10 and they win 10, you're good money.
that extra game says means a lot. Means a lot. So I definitely see Dallas as a 10-17.
Hmm.
Dallas could beat any team on any given Sunday, and they could lose to any team on any given
Yeah.
Sunday. That's been their trajectory over the years. So I'm going 10 right spot on.
And I'm not sure. So they play the AFC East. We just confirmed that speaking about the Bills. So they got to play the Jets, the Dolphins, and Buffalo, right? That's three tough games. They play the
Hmm.
second place teams, excuse me, in each division. I know they play, and then I forgot to mention this when we were talking about the Commanders. I'm almost positive the NFC East plays the NFC West this year. Me being a Seahawks fan, we do play all four teams because I know we play Dallas, we play Seattle plays Dallas, the Eagles, the Giants, we play the Giants here. So So they got two easy wins in the NFC West. They should beat the Rams, should beat the Cardinals. They can't beat the Niners. The Niners always beat up on Dallas. Dallas usually gives Seattle problems. They pretty much back and forth. Even when Seattle was good and winning the division and going to the Super Bowl or whatever, Dallas beat us. You know what I'm saying? So, um, 10 wins. I could see them. I could see them winning 10-7. I could see them winning 11 games. I think the schedule looks to be easy based off the way the NFL is formatted in the scheduling and the way the NFC conference is. I don't think it's that strong. I think I could see the Cowboys winning 11 games and going 11-5.
Mike,
11-5,
big
11 and
big
6.
year, big year
Yeah.
for McCarthy, right? He's going to be
Yeah.
calling the plays.
Yep.
They got rid of Kellen Moore.
Hmm.
Dak Prescott. You figure this is probably he's full strength now, right? Because you come
Yes.
off an injury, you're kind of like, you're getting, But this year, full camp, he should be 100% healthy. Uh, Gruesome injury by Pollard. Is he ready? Is he practicing already? Is he playing in the preseason?
Um, I haven't seen him play in the preseason. Today, watching this game, I'm watching the game right now, but he did not play in the first quarter, so I don't think he's, unless they're being cautious with him. So I don't know what his status is, but he didn't
Right.
start the game. He didn't play. So just like
They s-
Seattle didn't start a lot of their guys, they
right.
did start Geno, but the Cowboys, I did not see Pollard play.
Well, this is normally like the dress rehearsal before the season, right? The
Yeah, the
second
second game.
preseason game is the game that really matters.
Yeah.
Um, and then by midweek, guys start making their cuts, and you know what your team's going to look like. Um, Dallas is always under the microscope, right?
Yeah.
They've got Parsons, I mean, I think as a whole, Washington has better pass rush, but Parsons is probably the best player on
Yes.
the defensive side of the ball. Um, it's funny now that I'm looking at it and thinking about it. I mean, there's not a division in football that has better edge rushers. If you look at Philadelphia, they led the league in sacks. Um, the kid that the Giants drafted last year, Thibodeau,
Yeah, he's
he's
good. Yeah, from
he's
Oregon, right?
he.
Yeah.
I think he's primed to have a big year.
Yeah. I forgot
I
about him.
mean, yeah. So quarterbacks, oof, I wouldn't want to be a quarterback in that division. Um, but there's a lot of they re-signed Zach Martin.
Yeah,
Uh,
which is big because the offensive line I've been hearing is not that good, but Zach Martin is probably one of the best linemen in football because he could play two positions, and
right.
he's an interior lineman, which I think is more valuable than the tackles in the way football is played now. Back then it used to be the tackles. Now it's more interior linemen, pretty much are the better linemen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
The way that
'cause-
the way Dallas plays, that read option stuff,
Mhm.
right? It's all the pressure's on Dak, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I could see them as 10-7, and I just think Philadelphia is head and shoulders the best team, and there's not that much of a knock, right? I'm
No.
thinking Dallas 10-7. I'm looking at Philly 12-5.
Yeah, I could
You know,
see I could see Dallas and Philly splitting games, a piece, one apiece, and then beating
me
up
too.
the rest of the division, like pretty much winning. I think I could see Dallas losing a game to maybe Washington. I could see that happening. I could see Dallas losing again. I could see Philly, winning, going undefeated in the division. I could see Dallas losing to either the Giants. Well, I see them splitting with the Eagles. Let me rephrase that. I could see Philly going 5-1 in the division, and then I could see Dallas going like 4-2 in the division. So with that being said, 2 wins. I already know the two games with the Niners. The Niners have their number, so that could maybe be 3 losses. I'm hoping Seattle can beat them. That's 4, but it isn't. That game is in Dallas. And then I'm not. Then you have the other teams. The North and the South division. We'll talk about that more next week. They're not really that good. Those divisions. They're taking a back step. You figure the Vikings would probably do much. Probably win that division. Um,
I
unless.
went. Excuse me.
Mhm.
Just to remain in the NFC East, something popped into my head. out of all the coaches in the NFC East, who would you say head coach is A, under the most pressure, and B, who's the one that's the most questioned?
The coach that's under the most pressure,
Yeah, this year
I'd have to. It has to be McCarthy.
has to be McCarthy,
It has to be
and
McCarthy.
he's probably the one that might be looked at as the most suspect. But the crazy thing is, he's the only head coach in that division with the Super Bowl.
That's right. Yeah,
I
that's
I
funny.
can't, I mean, he gets disrespected so much, and he's the only guy with the ring.
Yeah,
You know,
that's a fucking great point because he's won a Super Bowl. And he's and even when he was his last couple years with Green Bay, was it right? Green Bay, they kind of got at him too.
right? Because I mean, it's like, okay, oh, you won with Aaron Rodgers. All right,
Yeah,
well, Aaron Rodgers hasn't won without him
yeah,
either.
that's true.
So I think, but the spotlight is big time on him, and now he's calling the plays. You know, is this his third year in Dallas?
Third or fourth.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Um. Yeah, third or fourth. I want to say fourth, but I'm not too sure. But it's America's team, right? It's like
absolutely
it's like the Yankees in baseball, right? They're
right,
pretty much under the spotlight. The Dodgers in baseball, in
right.
football, it's pretty much it's the
Well,
Cowboys, and then sometimes it rotates, right? It could be
mhm.
it could be the Giants sometimes. Um, but
Well,
yeah,
New York is New
yeah,
York.
yeah.
Yeah. New
But
York is New
yeah,
York,
it's pretty much the Cowboys when it's football. Like there's eyes on them all the time.
and Philly's fan base is lunatic level. I mean,
Yeah,
they to be so close to winning a Super Bowl like they were last year. I think it's Final Four at least, right?
yeah,
If they're not playing, in late January, then
yeah.
it's very disappointing. But barring an injury, right?
Yep.
It's all about staying healthy.
And that's the thing. An injury can change everything. You lose your quarterback, that
You're
changes
cooked.
everything. You know,
You're
it,
cooked overnight.
you lose
You know,
a big time defender, it changes everything. Uh, especially if those are the key guys in your offense or defense. It changes how you play. It not only changes how you play, it changes the way coaches coach as well. Like people don't really talk about that. Like, so what? It's one player, next man up. No, if it's a really key piece of either your offense or defense, you change the way you play as a team, right? You
hmm
have to rely on somebody else, and then sometimes you play call to different strengths because now maybe because now that position is not as strong. You lose a middle linebacker that's a Pro Bowler or All Pro, and now you got to put somebody else in. Now you got to kind of like coach different to the secondary or to the D line. Like it's a lot of variables that go into it when you lose key players. So and it does change everything for a team depending on the person you lose.
and Philly got nicked up. They lost a big special teamer the other day, and someone from their secondary. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Did that kid?
it's
What about the guy, the All Pro that last year? Did he resign or he left? The cornerback.
which
He made second team All Pro, I believe. I think he used to play with the Giants. The defensive
Brad,
backs.
Bradbury.
Was it Bradbury? I just know he played with the Giants, and then he had a great year last year with the Eagles. Um,
Right. I know the Raiders were in on him, and I don't know. I really don't know. I'd have to. I gotta ask the smartest man in the world,
hmm,
Google.
Google. I think, yeah, I'm not sure because I know he was a free agent. I don't know if they were going to sign him. Um, but yeah, so I mean, that's going to wrap it up for the football part of this. I'm going to
He
probably
signed.
wrap up.
He signed with the Panthers. No, I'm sorry. No, no, no. No, he's in Phil. He's still in Philadelphia.
So he must have re-signed. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
he's a
James
coin.
Bradbury.
He's a coin flip anyway. He's good because the guys around him are good.
Mm.
He takes a lot of chances. Um, But yeah, I was just curious about that because I know he had a great year last year and he was a free agent.
You got
So
him and Slay, maybe the
Slay is
two,
good.
right, the two best pairs in that
Yeah,
division. You
yeah.
know, sorry for the Cowboy fans and Diggs, who I think is, suspect. I'm
I
gonna
think
keep
Diggs.
it.
I know I've been saying that too, and Cowboy fans get at me all the time because they say, but he still produces, he does well, but I don't think he's that good. I think he's good, but not as good as people think he is. But
I mean, yeah, from the school of thought that the cornerbacks that get a lot of intos are the ones that quarterbacks think they could throw to, right?
yeah, exactly.
How many how many times did Deion Sanders lead the league in interceptions?
Not much.
Back after this, right?
Well said. No, you're right. It's the truth.
you know,
Yeah.
so that's the guy that people think they could get make plays off of,
And God
So
forbid if I say anything bad about Parsons too, because Parsons, as good as Parsons is, you put a big, he moves from side to side, but if there's a real good, left tackle, he's not doing anything. Or if there's a good right tackle, he's going to the other side. But we'll save that for another
well,
day.
Philadelphia. I mean, hey, when uh, that's why you play the games, right?
Yeah.
And Philly has the two best tackles in the division, so
Yep.
and those
So
are the games that he's supposed to show up on.
absolutely, and he doesn't do. He hasn't really done well versus them. But
Hmm.
um, but I'm gonna wrap. We're gonna close out the show. But this was pretty cool. I think we flowed pretty good on this as far as like the over unders. We can touch base on this next week, or if we maybe find time during the week, maybe we can pick up on another two divisions and just do that. Um, I want to end it real quick. Just switch to boxing real quick, and then tomorrow I got this segment with our guy. He just texted me, which is weird. It's a few minutes ago. I don't know if he texted you. He said he texted everybody involved. Are you on tomorrow? I knew he was on
No,
today. I heard you. I heard you today. Uh,
okay,
I was watching it. So it comes. So by the way, just I don't know if you know this. I found the YouTube um, where he's on live. So it's on Facebook under the WBC TV. I can watch it
right,
there, but there's a YouTube that they sometimes host it. So
ring talk.
maybe yeah, it might be maybe a minute delay, but it's live. So I heard it all the way to the end. So from beginning to end, but it's not Ring Talk. It's oh shit. It's like something
S-
TV, Vibe TV, I think, something like that.
Yes, that's the streaming company. They're based
Yeah,
out of Texas. Yes.
yeah. So they have a YouTube
Hmm.
channel and they post it live. So I was able to watch it live, which was pretty cool. I commented in there while you was talking and stuff. I think y'all was talking about Canelo and he's not picking Canelo, he's picking Charlo. He's saying Canelo's he's fat underneath the shirt, and then he was talking about how he has a six pack, and and then I said, oh, and I got a nice keg, and I hide my keg under my shirt. He says you can he
Hmm.
because he remember he was saying you can always tell when a guy is trying to hide the belly when they wear like a big long shirt. He was
Hmm.
saying, and
Hmm.
I had commented in the live, but I don't I guess nobody's really looking at it, or maybe it's a different station like you said. But yeah, it's like Five TV or something like that.
Yeah, you're spot on. Vibe. Yeah.
Vibe. Okay, cool. So then I
Hmm.
was all right. But yeah, so he just I think tomorrow he has Larry Merchant on. He's gonna do the thing with Tommy Morrison again because I think he was supposed to play a clip and it didn't go through today. So he's gonna play that clip and he said he's gonna do something about he did an interview I guess with Ernie Shavers years ago. He's gonna do
Okay.
something with them and then he's gonna have me. So we're gonna basically talk about Usyk and Dubois, Daniel Dubois, uh,
Who's a
tomorrow.
monster underdog?
He is a big underdog, and
Huge.
he hasn't been talking a lot of shit, but he's been talking a lot of shit. If that makes sense, like he's saying all
Okay.
the right things, but he's saying a lot of like he's talking about he's the big man. He's gonna bully him. He's gonna, he's not gonna be able to do anything with him. And he's he's too small. He keeps referring to him as a cruiserweight. Like he's been talking some smack. Um,
He's a plus 650.
yeah. I
Yeah. I
mean, I'm
mean,
not I'm not
I
touching it.
hell no.
No, I'm not touching it.
Hell no. He, Us Usyk is gonna beat the brakes off of Danny Dubois.
Yeah, I'm gonna predict a stoppage. Like meaning,
Yeah,
I think the ref is. I don't think he's. Usyk's not the guy that's gonna knock you out cold, but I think he's gonna put a beating on him when the ref
he
says,
will break you.
yeah, he will break. And based on what you showed me the other day, and when I had asked you about why the fight is in Poland, there should be a lot of UK, not a lot of UK. There should be a lot of Ukrainian fans there, so it's almost gonna be like a home field advantage fight for him, right? Uh,
Mhm.
for Usyk in Poland. So Daniel Dubois fights out of the UK, but is he from the UK? Isn't he? I think he's French. Isn't he French?
Uh, I, you know what? That's a good question.
Okay.
But I mean, we know he's based out of, the UK. He's made his bones over there. Um, the one loss, a lot of people think he quit, right?
Hmm.
So
And that was
came up a
against
lot
Joe Joyce. I mean,
against Joe Joyce.
Joe Joyce was giving him a beating. He was hitting him with some solid
Hmm.
shots too. So, I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know. Quitting might be a bad word there because he was taking a beating. Um, but yeah, he hasn't really lived up to the potential. They always, but UK they kind of sometimes they overhype these fighters in the UK too. So, um, but yeah, so I think Usyk is gonna box circles around this guy, and I'm predicting a stoppage around like the ninth round. You know, the ref is gonna say that's it. He can't take anymore.
yeah.
Cause
It's been a while since Usyk has had a stoppage. So
yeah.
I think he's due.
And one more thing I'll just touch up on real quick before we end. We also talked. I spoke to him, our guy Pedro on the phone. Also, we was talking about Canelo and Charlo. He really likes Charlo uh, going into this fight. I been kind of back and forth. I've been heavy on Canelo, like when the fight was announced, and now, speaking with Pedro earlier today, and then looking at the press conference and listening to how they speak, I feel like there's a lot of respect being given, which is just to me it just seems uncharacteristic. And I kind of feel like I think Charlo can win this fight as well. And you was even saying it too. Like you told him, you said you think Charlo is a very live dog in this fight and that he could
Hmm.
win. And I'm starting to feel that way too. I really don't like
I
either
think
fighter, to be honest. Like I respect both fighters in the ring, but I don't really rock with them like outside the ring. I think that obviously Canelo got caught cheating. That's a turn off. And then Charlo says the dumbest things, even though he seems to be have matured a lot in the last maybe year or so. It's his brother that's kind of been a little bit messed up, and but
he's a
that
racist,
yeah, yeah, well, I'm not gonna say good because
right?
what he said about the Caleb plant. I'm not gonna get into that,
But
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 yeah,
Caleb, but Caleb Plant's a brother too, so I guess that's what
yeah.
it is.
But Caleb Plant be saying, yeah, Caleb Plant be saying some shit that sometimes I be trying to get away with here, and me being half Hispanic and growing up in an urban community, right? Um, you
I'm
know,
just trolling.
so yeah, no, I know you're being a clown, but Mel has matured, and I just don't like Mel. He said some crazy shit. My guy is Deontay Wilder. I rock with Deontay. And he was talking crazy about Deontay, and I was like, talk crazy. Why don't you fight him then? Right? And then he was like, Deontay Wilder. He said something to the effect like Deontay Wilder don't want to come over here because we got shooters. Like, he's a clown. You know what I'm saying? So that to me, stuff like that kind of turns me off. But when you talk about the in ring, you can't take nothing away from the guy. I think
Yeah.
Mel's problem is he gets hit too much. Jamal to me is the better fighter because I think he's better
Hmm.
defensively. Mel, I think he believes in his power too much, and that's not a bad thing. A lot of the Puerto Rican fighters, like of late, they fight that way. And Mexicans too. And I think Mel fights like a Latino fighter. Hence he's training with your boy Guzman, but he doesn't fight like Guzman because Guzman was more slick and he
Hmm.
could box and he had fast hands. But what I mean by that is that like Matias, Sabriel Matias, like he don't mind getting hit as long as he could trade with you and try to get his off, because he really believes in his power. He believes that he can
Well,
stop anybody.
that's where I think could be his Waterloo. I
Yeah,
think his bravery may get him knocked out. I think
yeah,
it's going to be a good fight. While it lasts.
Yeah.
And I think the people that are kind of giving Charlo a chance, like myself, is because we see the demise of Canelo. So that's why the fight's a little bit even. More. There's more parity to the fight.
Yeah.
If Canelo was the same guy, if Canelo was the same guy that just that beat up Caleb Plant, I don't think anybody's picking Charlo. But
Yeah.
it's the Canelo that lost to Bivol and then looked ordinary against Ryder. So
Yeah.
he's come back to the pack.
Yeah. And a lot of people are looking at that. But and
Hmm.
I respect and I think they're spot on when they talk about the Ryder fight. But when they talk about the Bivol fight, I don't think it holds any weight in my opinion, because Bivol is a totally different fighter than what Jamel is, right? Like if Jamel doesn't really fight like a lot of people think he fights. Like he's not a slick boxer as a lot of
No,
people think. He's not.
no,
Like
he fights in the pocket.
he fights in the pocket and he can box, don't get me wrong, but he trades a lot and he fights in the pocket. He don't mind exchanging and he believes in his power. And so when people bring up Bivol, I think that's terrible analogy. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I could see him winning. I could see him winning in the cards. Like if Canelo can't hurt Mel, I think Mel can beat Canelo. But the biggest difference here is, yeah, Charlo's taller. He looks maybe bigger than Canelo, but he's never gotten hit by a guy at 168 pounds in the ring plus some, right? Because Canelo's going to come in at like 180, right?
Hmm.
So yeah,
You
maybe
would think,
Charlo
yeah.
comes in at 170 and
Or,
change.
or, or
You know,
maybe, or maybe Canelo. Maybe there's a different strategy. Maybe Canelo respects Charlo's speed, and maybe he wants to come in not as heavy, right? Because I thought when he fought Bivol, he looked chubby.
he
I thought
did, yeah.
I was talking to I was speaking with with one of my guys who's a mentor to me, Alex Ariza. He said, "Why would you compromise what you do best? Why? What? He should have came in lighter to be
Hmm.
faster.
Yeah.
When he fought Bivol, and that's especially a guy like Bivol who's not a puncher,
Hmm.
right? It's not like he was fighting Beterbiev, right?
Yeah.
So that you got. So I think that he shouldn't come in, to try to impose his physicality on
Yeah.
Charlo. No, he should come in at the best weight that he feels comfortable.
Yeah. Correct. I agree.
Hmm.
Well, my friend, Mr. Palmer, I'm just gonna bring up one more thing about that fight. I mean, we got time for that fight. That's in the end of September. But right now, today is August the 20th, right? Early
Hmm.
Sunday
Hmm.
morning, and the fight is September 30th. And I truly believe in my heart that Canelo's already up 4-0 on the cards. That's all I'm just gonna throw out there. I truly I think Canelo's already up 4-0. I think Charlo's already behind in the cards, and he's got a lot of work to do. That's what I believe because we
You got to
already
pick up
know
the pace.
he's got to pick up the pace because by next week he may be down 5 rounds to 0, even though the fight is in September 30th or the end of September. So yeah,
Right.
so
And the
that's
fights in
gonna
America.
and the fights in America,
America.
America.
I mean, I,
Or
I mean, they should have had the fight in Houston.
they should have. I
They
think that
should,
would have been great. They would have.
I,
They
I'm,
oh man,
I love Las Vegas, but at the same time, I'm tired of Las Vegas.
yeah.
I'm tired of Las Vegas. Seeing
They
the
should.
same background. I mean, that fight at was it Minute Maid? You know, would have been a really nice background.
It would have been
And
great. It
Canelo
would have been
and
even
Canelo
a
would
mixture
still
of
have
fans.
will still have the majority of the fans.
I think it would have been close to 50-50, but I think he'd have the majority.
No, hell no.
You don't think so?
50-50? Hell no.
You don't think Mel gets support in Houston?
You
You
can
don't
get
think so?
support.
That's his
Are they going to buy
hometown.
tickets? Are they going to
He's
buy tickets?
uh, that's another.
Are they
Yeah.
going to watch it through the hole in the fence?
Listen, I'm not gonna argue with
I,
that with you there.
I, I, listen. I was there when Miguel Cotto fought Zab Judah at Madison Square Garden in New York. That's all I'm going to say about that.
In
Brooklyn
New
stayed
York,
home.
and
Brooklyn
Brooklyn did
stayed
stay
home.
home. Yeah,
They stayed home.
They were all rocking with Kodo. Um,
So that doesn't mean spit. So
That's an
so
excellent point.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
a shame, to be honest, but that's another topic. You know
yeah.
who
For the
supports.
show.
Uh, it's a shame, because
Hmm.
the majority of the good talent in boxing are the minority, are the black fighters. They're the most talented of all the fighters.
That's a good debate too. Although
I think the
the heavyweight
majority.
landscape. I mean,
Well, not in the heavy. Okay, the heavyweight
that
division's changed over the last
yeah,
15 years because a lot of Europeans and
yeah.
have gotten
Hmm.
have gotten better. But for the most part, in the other divisions, you know, the African American, the blacks have been the more talented fighters, right? The
I
Mexicans
mean,
support. No matter how, the Mexican style and the Mexicans, they support each other. Even when you have the Mexicans hate each other, like Manuel Marquez, he always hates on like Canelo, right? They still support. Like it's just
mhm.
you know
Well, I mean, Canelo's one of the few guys that are crossover stars. I mean, Canelo's the biggest name in the sport.
yeah.
Regardless.
Look at
Um,
look at De La Hoya. De La Hoya, he's Mexican, but he's American. He's American and
he's
Mexican.
American, and
He's not Mexican American, right?
he
The
was the
pride of
last.
East LA. That was the greatest gimmick ever.
He was the he was the last matinee idol.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, Ryan Garcia. They were grooming him to be that. Fell
yeah.
short as of now. So,
But what
you
I'm
know,
saying is the greatest gimmick ever because the pride of East LA. Like, was De La Hoya really from East LA? Was he really like,
I,
come
I,
on.
I mean, I mean, I
That's
think
why
he
he's the
grew up
he's
in.
the golden boy.
I mean, he grew up in East LA. I mean, but it's like anybody, like a rapper. I mean,
I
Jay
grew
Z
up in
don't
the
live in
Bronx, but what if
Jay
I what
Z.
if I
Jay
what
Z
if
doesn't live in Marcy
but he grew up in
anymore.
Marcy?
He grew up in Marcy, but
Yeah,
he
but it's
lives
like
it.
me. I grew up
He's
in the
got a house in
Bronx.
Scarsdale.
Yeah, but what if I grew up in fucking Throgs Neck, right? Would I claim Throgs Neck or would I claim Soundview?
Fat Joe used to live in Throgs.
Yeah, but Fat Joe grew up on fucking Trinity Avenue in the South Bronx.
Right,
It's different. My point is like, but what if Fat Joe grew up in Throgs Neck? He's not gonna claim. He wouldn't claim Throgs Neck. He'd make something up and claim he's from like
right,
Trinity
right,
Avenue,
right,
like I said, or
right,
fucking
right,
Barksdale
right, right,
Projects, right? You know
right.
what I'm saying? Like that. What I'm saying, the Pride of East LA. He was the golden boy. He was not an East LA, guy, right? Like me. I'm from the Bronx, and I grew up and raised in Soundview, right?
Hmm.
Westchester Avenue.
Hmm.
That's considered Soundview. Like, it's legit. You look at me, you probably say I'm from like Morris Park, right? But I'm just saying, you know, it was to me, it was more of a gimmick. So, but yeah, I
It's
guess to get over with the Mexican crowd. And there was a lot of Mexicans that didn't rock with De La Hoya in the beginning. A lot of Mexicans
and
didn't rock
and
with,
and
with De La
there's and
Hoya.
there's still, yeah. I mean, Oscar Oscar. I think they rocked with him when they needed to, but when Oscar fought, Chavez, obviously,
Yeah,
and even like someone like Fernando Vargas, there was a certain division,
yeah,
but Oscar was a true matinee idol, man. The guy, he fought everyone in
yeah,
his era. That's, you can't take that away from him. And the path to make the biggest payday was through him. It's
yeah,
he is what the sport of boxing is about, right? Boxing tends to recycle and make superstars like no other sport.
yeah,
It's right now we're in the era of Canelo. We're in the twilight of it. Who's going to be the next guy to grab that mantle? You
yeah,
know, it's up for grabs. Because even someone like Crawford, who's considered, if not the best, or 1A, if you want to argue in one way,
yeah.
he's not Canelo in terms of the box office,
No,
or he's certainly not De La Hoya.
no.
So who's going to be the guy that's going to grab that throne? You
And
um,
it's unfortunate because he truly
I'm,
is to me the number one pound for pound. Especially if he moves up to 154.
oh,
Now he's talking
forget
about
54.
yeah.
He
He's talking
wants the
Canelo.
winner of this fight. He wants to
Yeah,
win, as he should. I mean, he's
yeah,
34, 35. I mean, he's not getting any younger. I mean, why not?
yeah.
Why not? Why not?
I
You know,
say
if
go
if
for it.
if
Yeah.
Charlo if Charlo loses to Canelo, who the hell wants to see him? Go up to 54 and fight Charlo. It makes no sense. The
I
fight
wouldn't want to see it, especially like because why I wouldn't want to see Charlo come back down to fight
stupid. It doesn't
Crawford.
make any. It
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense at all.
it would be bad for Charlo. Now no matter if he wins or loses, I wouldn't want to see it. I don't think it wouldn't be the same Charlo, in my opinion. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Especially at that weight. So
Yeah, no, he'll know. I don't think you'll see whether Jamal Charlo gets starched on September 30th, or he wins. He'll never fight at 54 ever again.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
he's
160, maybe, but not 154. I think
logical, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
I don't see it. I you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, man, let's wrap it up. We've been on here a minute. It was just pretty good. Nice little flow.
Hmm.
I want to thank everybody that came through and showed love. Hopefully we come back maybe during the week. Maybe we do a little quick live and maybe we'll talk a little bit more football. I know we got some fantasy talk you want to do. Um, we're doing a pick 'em pool, which I think is pretty cool. So we could talk spreads, each
Hmm.
week too. We can do that. There's a bunch of things we can speak about besides boxing. We've
I'm
covered and followed sports for so long, and we've played sports that we can talk about whatever.
I'm peeking through the hole in the fence, and it's 12:50 in the morning, and we got UFC 292 going on right now.
I know I'm
Uh,
watching it right now. The main
Sugar,
event's
Sugar,
about to start.
yeah, yeah, Sugar Shane O'Malley and Aljamain Sterling. So should be
I'm not a
interesting.
I'm not a big UFC guy, but I will watch the main event like today.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
Um,
respect it. I respect it. It's just
yeah,
so much stuff to follow. I mean, geez,
yeah,
shit. I mean, just so much stuff to follow. There's only 24 hours in a day.
yeah.
But
Well,
I certainly have grown. I've grown to respect the sport. Uh,
oh,
i-
definitely.
in Boston, does Aljamain Sterling have to win by knockout?
I don't know.
I, I,
I
I
honestly
wonder.
I
I
don't I
wonder
don't
what.
know much about these guys. I know that they both talk shit. I know this guy
I know.
O'Malley talks mad shit.
You know.
I know that.
And,
Who's the favorite?
and well, Sterling is a champ. I have not checked the odds, but I know definitely who
Uh-huh.
the crowd is going to be rooting for. I mean, they're in Boston, and the dude named O'Malley is
Yeah,
the main event.
Yeah.
Hello,
So, you think
McFly.
you think Ray Donovan will be there to make sure nothing happens? Sure. Ray
All I,
Donovan. Sure.
woo, all I know is the last the last time I seen this many crackers was in Nabisco.
You ain't shit.
Hi-oh. There goes my man Don House, the cut man.
Oh,
Good man.
nice. Downhouse.
Don,
Yes.
used to train Joan Guzman, and to
Yeah.
his right, that is the late great Chicanito Hernandez's brother. I'm glad they both getting that Dana White check.
Nice.
In fixtures in the UFC.
Hmm.
Yeah, both excellent boxing trainers and cutmen.
Don House, he's a trainer as well. He's not just a cut man. He trains, right?
Yeah, he trains fighters. I
Yeah.
think the last time I remember him in the spotlight was when he trained that burger, and I have no problem saying it, Brevin Stavern. He trained that burger.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, that Don King's last hurrah in the spotlight.
Well,
Yeah,
he's
but
worked. I seen him recently, like a couple weeks ago. I forgot which fighter he was with. I know he was with Wilder. He was there, to check the gloves and stuff. Uh, and he was also, he was. I don't know if he was in the corner. I can't remember for the Wilder Fury fight. But he was. I saw him a few weeks ago at a fight.
he's a hustler, man.
Yeah, man. He's yeah, nice, nice. All right, so I'll let you get to the fight. I'm gonna enjoy the fight, and then I'm gonna do a couple things, write some things down for tomorrow, and
Main
yeah,
event,
maybe.
okay. Sean O'Malley is a plus 210.
Oh wow, okay, so then Sterling is a wow
He's
big
a champ.
favorite. Yeah.
Aljamain Sterling, yeah, he's a champ.
So
So
why is it in? How did it end up in Boston? Is O'Malley from Boston?
I have no idea, but it's good business.
I obviously because it's a fucking the
It's
Irish
great business.
community in Boston is crazy. The Irish
You know,
mob. But yeah, so I don't like I said, I just know that O'Malley talks a lot of shit. Sterling, I think I only seen fight once. Um, but
Well, he
yeah, I
beat
know both
Sahu
fighters good. Yeah,
he beat Henry Cejudo his last
yeah,
time out, right?
yeah,
So and he won the title kind of in a controversial fashion, if I recall. So we should have got next time the UFC goes down, we got to get our boy Renee.
yeah. I don't know. So I haven't heard from him in a minute. I actually
I
texted him
think he's on
solo.
vacation. I think he's on vacation.
Oh, he could be because I texted him solo and he hasn't responded, so he might be away.
I think he's on vacation.
Yeah.
His wedding
Uh-huh.
anniversary was
But
I think it was
I've invited him. I invited everybody. I invited them. Come on, you could talk whatever you want. We could revolve around that. We could talk about that. We did wrestling with Jay. Jay knows wrestling because he wrestled. He wrestled a lot of the guys independently. You know what I'm saying? So we know people. I never got a chance to contact a couple of these guys. I don't know if it'll be. Maybe I'll
I,
text Shushu tomorrow. I didn't. I forgot to hit him up, but this fight week, so I don't know.
ooh
What he has going on. Uh, but it'd be nice to get your boy that trains Zhang on. I think that would be good. I like to chop it up with him.
Sean
Uh,
George,
Sean George, yeah. So
good
I'm
man.
gonna reference him tomorrow when I talk about Zhang and Joy Joyce too, and how he
Good,
helps Zhang in his last fight, and I'll refer to Zhang's fight with Herkovic that I thought he got robbed. So yeah,
right, right, right.
uh, yeah, yeah. I'm not sure who Pedro likes, if Pedro's a Joyce guy or not. I tend to think he is. He likes Joe Joyce. So,
Mm,
but yeah, that fight's interesting because obviously he couldn't get away from the straight left, right?
right.
So if he could do that, I think he could win, right? Unless Zhang brings something else to the
hmm
table. But Zhang seems very confident. So
hmm
yeah.
Had
Oh, he's
Jermaine
from Long
Sterling.
Island. Okay, he's a New
Is,
Yorker.
is he Yachty?
He's a Yardie from
Definitely.
New
Is he?
York, from the Long Island. Is it Long Island where they say water instead of water? They say water. Is it water?
Yeah. He's. I want to say
Or
Mr.
is it
Sterling
Staten
is.
Island? Huh?
I believe Mr. Sterling is Jamaican descent.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay. Okay.
he's trains with former standout Chris Weidman, who fought earlier today. He lost a
Okay.
comeback bid. Yeah, they're from the same crew.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. All right, brother. Well, let me wrap it up.
Enjoy.
Play the little jingles, and we're out of here. Thank you for everybody that came through and showed love. Salute to everybody. Shout out TWT. Shout out to the whole TWT family. Thank you to my boy Big Papa Sock. And we out of here, baby.